So let's get chatting with the management that came out with its set of numbers over the weekend. We have Mr. Satish Menon, the Executive Director of Geojit BNP Paribas, who joins us on the phone line. Hi Satish, thanks so much for joining in. Focusing on your top line first, if I just take a look at it on a sequential basis, it's higher, but on a year-on-year basis, it's come in lower. What kind of revenues can we look at for the next couple of quarters, just going by it? Because I think in the same quarter last year, you did around 76 crores. Now you're clocking a run rate of around 65 to around 70. Can we expect 75 to 80 in the next couple of quarters?
Morning, Nigel. Like we've been saying, you know, our revenues are totally dependent upon the stock market's volume. We are into retail brokerage, and that forms 90% of the operating revenue. If you see, last July to September was a carry-on period from the April, May, June period when the new government came into power, and the volumes are very good. This quarter, the volumes have been subdued, and that is what is reflected in our numbers also. Going ahead, of course, we were quite bullish on what is going to happen to the Indian economy and thus to the Indian capital market. We have invested in people, we have invested in technologies. I'm sure in the next 2-3 quarters, when the economy starts improving, the same kind of effect will be seen in the stock market volumes also. So it is very difficult for me to give you a number because we are totally dependent upon how the stock market moves, how the volumes are there in the stock markets.
Hi Satish, good morning. Apart from investing in people and technology, BNP Paribas has also invested in Sher Khan. You've acquired a 100% stake in Sher Khan. A couple of questions to do with that. A, if you could tell us the valuations. B, when would this get completed, this acquisition, and start showing up in the company's financials? And what would the combined market share now stand at?
Sarima, this is beyond my pay grade. This is between the shareholders. Okay. Unfortunately, I would not be able to comment on this subject.
All right, Satish, getting back to your numbers, then you told us that you're hoping that things improve in the second half of the year. But margins, if I'm just looking at it, in the last year it was around 35%. Now it's closer towards 25-26%. Why is that?
See, the EBITDA margin, if you see the consolidated numbers, the EBITDA margin for this quarter is around 33%. And a year back it was around 41%. This is primarily because, like what I said, for us, we have invested hugely into people. We have close to 12% more people than what we had last year. That is around close to 300 people. And if you see the figures, the increase in cost has primarily come from employee expenses as well as from depreciation. We have invested in technologies also. So part of the expenses are fixed. So no matter how the volumes are, such expenses are there. So when the volumes goes up, when the income goes up, the expenses do not go up proportionately. And our philosophy was that since India is recovering, since economy is going to do good, we thought that, and we still believe in the quarters to come, the stock market volumes will be better. With that in mind, we have already invested in things. So I think the moment the volumes improves, our EBITDA margin, etc., would also improve.
Satish, you're primarily now a retail brokerage firm, but your peers like Motilal Oswal have also diversified from the traditional brokerage business and entered into asset management, fund-based business. Would Geojit BNP Paribas be also interested in diversifying? And if yes, in what?
See, as of now, brokerage, of course, forms a major portion of our operating revenue. But apart from brokerages, we are very pretty bullish on the financial product distribution, which is mutual funds and insurance. What we have seen over the last 1 year or so is a lot of new clients, which is actually more than 60% of our new clients, are first-timers to the market. And these first-timers to the market comes primarily through the mutual fund route. So collection of mutual fund subscription is going to be a focus area for us in the next years to come. We also have a small business in the portfolio management services. I think that also would do well in terms of the HNI segments.
All right, Satish, one final question before we let you go. I'm aware that you have a strategic presence in West Asia. You have a JV, I believe, over there. How much does that contribute to your revenues? And secondly, you're entered into an MOU to sell a stake in a Saudi Arabian JV, 28% stake. Could you give us clarity on both these two details?
Okay, in terms of JVs in West Asia, yes, you are right. We are present in UAE, Bahrain, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia, and Oman. The first JV was in UAE and it's doing pretty well. And we primarily cater to non-resident Indians there in terms of capital market activity as well as from mutual funds. So those are doing well in terms of NRI's investment in India. To talk about the second question in terms of Alola, which is our JV in Saudi Arabia, we had invested in Alola in 2007. We had invested close to 30-odd crore rupees in 2007, and the idea was to do the similar kind of NRI business for capital market. Saudi Arabia market has not been doing well, and the other partners there, we hold 28%, which is a minority stake. The other partners there wants to do business which is primarily into asset management, which is not a core activity for us. Hence, we have decided that we will try to exit that JV. It is still in an MOU term. I'm not in a position to give you figures as what is going to be the actual amount, but I'm hopeful that in this quarter we should be able to bring it to end.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Thanks so much for joining in. Let's slip into a very short break. We'll come back and focus on more earnings. Joining us next will be the management of TD Power Systems.